There we go. You should be able to hear me now. Off to a great start. Off to a great start. All right. So, once again, welcome in. Latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Michael Breton. Pretend that none of that happened. Since Mike's out of football shape, I'm just, quite frankly, I'm out of all shape. I think you could tell by looking at me. But Cousin Shane is pulling a Nico. He's not showing up. Not till this damn golf tournament's over, which he said it's almost over. But hey, I'm here because 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock, 6 Central. That's what we set for, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging. So fire away with any questions. My mic was unplugged. I'm an idiot. I apologize. We got a lot to talk about here. 45 minutes. Someone is saying, no, by God, I'm not doing a 45-minute wait here. They're doing playoff. Yeah, Shane may not show up. Man, we got a lot to talk about. So maybe hit me up with some Q&As. I went to the Tennessee spring game over the weekend. That was garbage. I know Florida. Shout out Liquid. He said Florida. I mean, basically there was 4 or 5 spring games, but only some of them, or none of them were televised. Only the Texas A&M game next weekend is going to be televised. So we're going to reach out to a lot of people around the SEC, people that were actually at the spring games, to comment and let us know what happened I'm going to try to get someone to do that for each and every spring game. So hopefully we can see what's up with that. Hey, as always, though, got to remind you guys, we're brought to you by MyBookie. Cousin Shane may not show up for you, but MyBookie will. If you head on over to mybookie.ag, put in that promo code, that SEC. You can see it right there on the bottom of the screen. But I can't get over damn Nico. Does Shane get paid? Well, he does, but I think that's going to be revoked here soon. So Shane's holding out for a new NIL deal. I'm going to let him know that you all are pissed that we're waiting on him. This is great podcasting, by the way. I'm sitting here. I am live. Just so you know. How was the spring game? How did Nico? I made the joke. I was not leaving in the stadium until I saw Nico. I'd still be there if I was waiting for him. It was ridiculous. It wasn't worth even going to. I went strictly to see the drama. I mean, well, quite frankly, I went because I wanted to see what Tennessee looked like because I knew it was going to be televised. And then this Nico thing happened, and then come hell or high water, I just got back home from Nashville on Friday. I said I'm driving down to Knoxville for the spring game. So, Bradley, appreciate you. Love the Fine Bomb show. That was fun. That was great fun. That was a little bit of a shit show. My Uber driver got me there about 15 minutes late. And it had always been a dream of mine to see the SEC network, to see the Paul Feinbaum set. And so, again, I didn't even get there on time. I got there late. They rushed me right on the screen, and we were there for the entire last hour of the show. And then as soon as it left, Paul said, let's get the hell out of here. And we went out the back door. So I literally didn't get to see hardly much of anything at SEC Network. So hopefully I'll get down there again. Benny, can we get a comp? Man, I was waiting for this, but sad times here. Kyron Lacey, standout LSU receiver, passed away this weekend. He was only 24 years old. It's pretty tragic. He's had a lot of stuff going on, though. But still, was very, very sad. Avery Johnson to Tennessee, man with the plan, wants to know. That's the Kansas State quarterback, for anybody that doesn't know. I don't know. I mean, I've heard the rumor like everybody else, but that's the thing. Tennessee's going to have over $2 million potentially to spend on a quarterback in the spring portal. And I will say this, I mean, fair or not, it's probably not fair to judge Tennessee quarterbacks based on a spring game with a lot of players out and all that. But those guys, I don't think are going to be able to get it done in terms of competing for an SEC, competing for a shot at the college football playoff. I don't think Tennessee's sniffing that right now, just based on, again, one half-ass spring game. It was not even a spring game. It was pretty ridiculous. Cousin Ken, we'll get to some Florida stuff here, but again, I didn't get to see it, so I don't really know what more I can add. I've seen the highlights and stuff of a lot of these spring games. Steven Up, have you ever tried to get credentials to be in a coach's interview? I've not really tried. I don't really. I mean, I live in Nashville, so the only one I could really get would be Clark Lee, and yeah, I I'm not a fan. Not, I mean, that wouldn't be worth my time going down there. Tony says I looked tense. I felt tense on Fine Bob, but it was just weird being in there. Really weird for me. Pooh Ball says Shane has gone AWOL to his NIL contract. That's exactly what I mean. We used to be that SEC football podcast. I guess we're that golf podcast now because Shane ain't showing up till the golf's over. I don't know what's up with that. He could pause it. I don't even think he's got cable, so he could have it on the screen while he's here. I would think. Rick, we appreciate you, buddy. It's been a long time. $20. Appreciate you. Just been watched the last dozen that SEC podcast to catch up. Then heard about Nico. How many of those would be different now? Crazy. Missed the shows, but looking forward to them now. Gig 'em. Rick, thank you. Rick, we appreciate you. And thank you, Coach Mike Elko, for not being a coward and allowing Texas A&M spring football game to be televised. That's the only one in the SEC that's going to be televised. This is a travesty. JR, I mean, this guy, JR, cousin JR, he shows up even when cousin Shane refuses to be here. Maybe we reach out to cousin JR, but can we replace Shane with cousin JR? We may have to. Shout out Dobie, you've been gifted a membership. Defeated Samuel B, Tay Massey, Tell the Timbers, Michael Deitch have all been gifted memberships thanks to the legend JR. We appreciate you, buddy. What a guy. What a guy. We got a little bit of Georgia. Again, wasn't at the Georgia spring game, so we're going to try to have someone on to talk about the Georgia spring game this week. We're going to try to get everybody that has been at Alabama, that at Auburn, Florida, on and on and on, because we have gone silent era or radio, maybe newspaper times when that's all you could do. Hey, shout out. Horton hears you. He just gifted 5 memberships. Wait. Oh, wait. No, I screwed them all up. I apologize. So JR's memberships went to Matt Green, UT Rage, Dustin R, 1987, and Carson Caleb Vibes, and Bri Guy. You've all been gifted memberships. Those were courtesy of JR. The ones that Horton hears you gave were Defeated Samuel, Tay Massey, Tell the Timbers, Michael Deitch. Man, you guys are the best. You guys are the best. You guys are the real cousins, not cousin Shane, who is a real cousin, by the way. He just doesn't act like it, you know? Sometimes you take family for granted. I think that's what it is. Shane takes us for granted, and he takes his show for granted, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Who cares about the Masters? Is he getting paid to talk about the Masters? I don't think Shane's ever watched the Masters in his life. He's a master debater. I know that, but I don't think he's watched a single Masters till this year. Now he's a golf nut. Now his life revolves around the golf. He didn't even go to the spring game. He said he was going to meet me up there. He didn't come. He did not come. I think because he was watching damn golf and master debating, if I had to guess. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But Shane's getting in the portal. He is. And he is transferring to the Masters, apparently. That old masturbator. 125% tariff on Nico. I think it's more than that. I think Nico has got me twisted. I'm over it. I'm over it. This is wild. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Who gives a shit about damn Masters? Anyway, fire away with some questions. I probably missed a bunch of them, so keep firing them away. Yeah, Shane, he ain't showing up till Nico shows up. I think that's what he's doing. Yes, Liquid Nico left Tennessee, said we're moving on without your ass. And I think that was, I mean, hell, I would have paid Nico in full transparency, because I don't think Josh Heupel has ever been as popular in Knoxville than he is right now for giving a stiff arm to Nico, saying, we're not playing your games. We're not paying you all this money. And that's fantastic. A lot of people around college football right now are applauding, and they're saying that's the right move. Cannot give in to these demands, which I understand. I understand all that. And I'm not saying Nico's worth the money, but if you can make, and keep in mind, I didn't have Tennessee making the playoffs this year. I mean, not that I've really revealed my official predictions yet, but I did not foresee Tennessee making the college football playoff with Nico. But could they have gotten there? Definitely. Do I see him going there without him? Not a shot in hell. So in that regard, I probably would have paid him, but it makes sense. Again, we'll get into all this, but how about Tennessee's over-under? It has shifted to 8.5. It was 9.5. So down a game, but the odds heavily favor the under at this point in time, according to the odds makers. I'm not exactly looking at the odds right now, but you get a lot more money if you bet the over on Tennessee and they actually covered. You would not get that much if you bet the under, if that makes sense. How about this one? JVL. This is a great question. Great question. Vols have any legit options in the portal to replace Nico? And I think right now, the answer is no. But could that change? I think it definitely could. Considering the $2.5 million Tennessee was going to give to Nico, now they freed that up. They can give that to someone else. And I think they can get a really good quarterback. We're going to have my buddy Steven Lassen, as always, on Monday. I reached out to him and asked, who are the quarterbacks in the portal? These are the guys he said Tennessee would be looking at. He thought Jaden Rashada, he's been at 2 SEC schools now. I don't think he's taken a snap of significance, and he's looking at some garbage schools. Dylan Rizik, whoever the hell that is, he was at Central Florida. Chandler Rogers, who played at Cal and Ohio, and CJ Ugbana, who's at Buffalo. So again, I'm not saying those are the names they're looking at, but that's who Steven said is out there that would make sense for Tennessee. So if you're going with those guys, I think you're much better going with Jake Merklinger, who's a redshirt freshman, or George McIntyre, the true freshman, who McIntyre I thought looked like the better quarterback on Saturday, for what that's worth, in a scrimmage half of spring game. It was wild. UT still beating Florida, Mike. I don't think Mr. Bassman says I never had Tennessee beating Florida. I don't think that's crazy talk. Florida not always, but as Hughes Freeze would say, 9 times out of 10, Florida beats Tennessee. And yeah, but we do have some news on DJ Lagway. So maybe I spoke too soon. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. Waiting for cousin Shane, which I don't know when he's coming or if he is, but he said he is. We got a whole show to do here, and he's leaving me hanging. How about JR? He may be speaking the truth here. Tennessee will be a better team without Nico. What are your thoughts on that? Again, the guy didn't show up to practice. He didn't tell anybody. I think that's the important part. He didn't tell anybody. He was at the offensive coordinator's house on Thursday, where they had a quarterback's hangout, right? Nico was there, and then no one's heard from him from Tennessee all day Friday. And obviously keep in mind, this is the day before the spring game. They had practice. Nico didn't tell anybody why he was not there, and he could not be reached. And to my knowledge, he still cannot be reached. And we're here Sunday evening, and they moved on from him. So, I mean, that tells you a lot about his character, I think, and lack of leadership, accountability, many things. So JR could be right. He could be right. Liquid, excellent question. Yeah, Nico cannot transfer to another SEC school, and Tennessee cannot lure another SEC player that is, unless they're in the portal already. You had to be in the portal February 1st to transfer from SEC to SEC school, and obviously we're well past that deadline. So it's not going to be an SEC quarterback. that is going to be at Tennessee this year. Will not. Shout out, man, with the plan. Think about ETSU has Cade McNamara at quarterback versus what Tennessee. Is that the former Michigan quarterback? He's at ETSU. Get him to Knoxville. Maybe we can get him. In the pod with J-Rod, how many players hop in the portal knowing they're without a? That's a great question. Tennessee's got a lot of guys that were attracted to Tennessee, not just because of Nico. I mean, let's not be naive. Why are they coming to Tennessee? Because they're getting paid. Tennessee's got a top collective. They got a lot of money to spend. So will players jump in the portal? I would assume yes. Will it be a mass exodus? I would assume not. Because here's the thing. Here's where Nico and his family or agent or whatever really screwed the pooch here. If they were going to do this, they should have done it in December. They would have got a lot more money. And the reason being, most schools right now have already committed to a quarterback. They've already paid their quarterback, like a Miami. Like, if Nico went to Miami, he probably would have got like $4 million. But they obviously gave it to Carson Beck. And maybe they wanted Carson Beck more than Nico. I don't know. But that's just an example of a spot, an attractive spot that would have been open to Nico, but now it's not. And that doesn't mean there's no options. But if your options are Texas Tech, UCLA, I mean, are they really going to get in a bidding war for Nico? They may. But I think there's a chance Nico makes less wherever he goes than had he stayed at Tennessee and made close to $2.5 million this year. I really do. That's how about this one, Fox Mulder? Where do you think Nico ends up? I think he's going to go to Texas Tech because they are desperate to win big. Anybody that doesn't know, there's a couple of big time boosters that Texas Tech has. Apparently, they're billionaires, legit billionaires that are wanting Texas Tech to win the Big 12, make the college football playoff. They're fueling their run in college basketball, and they have an elite portal class because they're paying out the ass for these guys. So if Nico's looking for money, that's his main objective, which clearly, I mean, I think it's a safe assumption. If they're interested, I think they'll offer him a fair deal, and I think he'll take it. Another one to think about is North Carolina, who came pretty close to getting John Mateer, believe it or not, but obviously Oklahoma won out. I think he'll do a hell of a lot better at Oklahoma than he will at North Carolina, so that was a good decision. But North Carolina's looking for a quarterback, too, to go play for Bill Belichick. I don't know what their NIL looks like, though, so keep in mind that that's where that's at. Oh, looks like it's over. Oh, it must be over because the man with the Gulf iron. I told him you were pulling a Nico holdout over here.
Yeah, till you meet my demands. but you never text my dad, so here I am.
Who won the tournament?
Rory, baby. Oh my gosh, what a great one. This was his 11th attempt. There's some sort of story into that, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
And almost blew it on 18 and got a bogey there, and then they went to a playoff, and man, Rory got a birdie, and Rose was unfortunate to miss that putt. So what a wonderful, wonderful Masters. And I tell you what, man, I don't know if it's the older I get, but I didn't appreciate them as much growing up. And now that I'm getting older and now that I'm playing a little bit more golf, man, this is by far one of the best. I mean, it's one of the better sporting events that happens this year, you know?
I don't know, but I'll take your word for it, Shay. Maybe that's something I got to look forward to as I get older in age. Maybe it'll come around for me. But hey, shout out because of Brian Moore, Shane. He gave us $5.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, cuz.
Nico, this Nico thing sucks, he says, but I think it's better that the drama happens now instead of during or right before the season. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, that's the next thing. I think the next evolution to this holdout shit is somebody before a playoff game, somebody before I hate to say it, because again, in this event, the more stuff that leaks out with Nico, it's not so much about Nico, but who's around him, and I'm just hoping that we don't ever see that during the season. And I'm not saying that we would have saw it with Nico, but yeah, it's kind of like Coach said, rip the Band-Aid. I don't want to deal with this every single season and trying to restructure your contract and afraid that my quarterback's going to walk. It's like at some point you're going to have to buy into the school. This isn't the NFL. This is a college team. And there's a lot of people on that roster that don't have the luxury to bounce around, and we got some clips, I'm sure, but Cristobal, he talked about it. He goes, there's other people and they are completely bought in here and we're not going to play that game. So I love this. I just rip the Band-Aid, get him the hell out of here. Let's move on.
Yeah, because of Mike, I don't know if you heard this, Shane, and I don't know if it's actually true, but I think it is.
Yeah.
Where the rumor is Dan Lanning, Oregon coach, called Josh Heupel and said, Nico called us and asked for an offer, like he's shopping himself.
Yeah.
So shout out cousin JR. He gifted a couple of memberships, Shane, but he says, watch for Oregon. Oregon makes sense, but not in the sense if Dan Lanning kind of kicked this whole hornet's nest into action, and let it be known. So if that, and Dan Lanning has been asked about it, and he didn't want to get into it. So
I don't think he would either. I don't think he would go after Nico now, because it's such a hot topic, and I think it would fall back on Dan making his character question. Not that it's a big deal, but future recruits and parents that are watching the situation unfold may not want to have that on their resume. So whether Coach, Nico likes it or not, I think he's kind of drained up a little bit of the options that are sitting out there, I would imagine.
Right. And again, so Dan Lanning's been asked about this, and he didn't say it's true, but if it wasn't true, I feel like he would have said, "No, that's a crazy rumor." You know what I mean? Like he just said no comment. So that tells me it's true. Come on. And hey, shout out Tracy Milton. He gave us $10, Shane. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Cousin Tracy. I don't see a question or anything. Hit us up with a question.
$10 just to show up. That's part of my NIL package right there.
Tracy said Nico's dad screwed this whole thing up. Grady, Buddy Grubber. At least we won't have a quarterback wearing a dress anymore.
Oh, well.
His words not mine. Go Vols. That's what he says.
I got a lot of feedback on that one. I said there was a video of him walking, and I said there were signs, but people are like, "Hey, wait, that's where he's from." And hell, people used to wear kilts from my family, so back in the day. So I can't say one way or the other, but I will say this. I think Tennessee fans upset about the situation, obviously, but okay with it. It's not like Nico's coming off a banner season and we've got a major rebuild here. The rebuild will be around that defense, will be around that running game, that offensive line. And coaches even came out here and said, we're looking, man. I think that's the main thing. We know how much money we got to work with, and the portal's open. So I would imagine there's some quarterbacks that are going to be interested in that spot as well.
Right. So hey, you teased it. Let's get over to it. Josh Heupel, after the spring game, credit him, Shane. He didn't even wait for the question. He just threw this out there. What the hell's going on with old Nico?
Obviously, we're moving forward as a program without him. I said it to the guys today. There's no one that's bigger than the Power T, and that includes me. And they hear me say that a lot inside of that team room. This program's been around for a long time, with a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players that came before that laid the cornerstone pieces, the legacy, the tradition that is Tennessee football. It's going to be around a long time after I'm done and after they're gone. And that's what's special about being here, is that there is a legacy and a tradition that is so rich, and a logo that's recognized not just across the nation but across the world too. And today you got a chance to see 110 guys that ran out and competed their butts off, that give their all for Tennessee and do it the right way. And really proud of the spring that they've had, but also.
So do you think the Heupel comes out of this whole situation a winner, Shane, or is it? Because I don't think his popularity has ever been higher than it is right now in Knoxville.
No, I think there was a loud roar when he went through there, and I would imagine any event that we see Coach Heupel in, Vol fans have just got a little bit more respect for him, and because somebody had to do it. This whole situation, it isn't just about Tennessee and about Nico. It's about some of these problems that have come up, just maybe not as big as a quarterback in the SEC, but there have been situations right now, and they've all given in to the players and the people that are trying to make the money out of the situation, but nobody's really commended the coaches for stepping up and saying, nah, not at this place. So I think, yes, he did earn some respect, but in the end, he did also lose a quarterback. So,
but will that popularity remain, Shane? The over-under's already dipped to 8.5.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a 7-5, 6-6, will there be any regret? You think about, God, couldn't you have worked it out with Nico and Nico dad? You know what I mean? Like, will that time come, you think?
I mean, there's going to be some moments, just like watching the Masters here. There was a couple of holes that Rory would like to have back. And, I feel like that, if you, Vol fan, or not just Vol fans, any fans, we're going to look at something to nitpick, whether it's a coaching decision, whether it's a player we picked up, or whether it's a player we lost. But early in the season is really when that's going to be tested. Syracuse is going to be bringing in a very experienced, tough defense. You've got Georgia right around the corner. So it's not like this is a schedule, even though we talked about kind of how easy it is compared to other SEC schedules. It's still a schedule that ramps up pretty damn quick in September. So, if there's going to be some excuses made or said, it's going to happen the first few games here.
Yeah, and I think this was the only move they could have made, Shane, because I think he lost the locker room. And I think that's a little evident here. You haven't seen this. This is Tennessee tight end, one of the leaders of the team, Miles Kitzelman, after the spring game. Ooh, buddy. He didn't call him out specifically, but he called him out.
Yeah.
Permission to speak free.
Plug and play, man. I mean, like I said before, I've been on some talented teams that haven't done too well because there are a bunch of individuals on those teams. And I'm not just saying this to say this, but, man, this team's different. Our O-line's close. Our wide receivers are close. Our tight ends are the closest group I've ever been with. Our quarterbacks are close. Like, man, this team is a team. And like I said before, there's no one else that I'd rather go to war with. And, just letting these guys know, like, man, we're good with whoever we got back there at quarterback. We got some dogs here, and these two guys. We got guys that want to be here. We got guys that want to give their all, and they're going to go the extra mile to do whatever they can to give us the best opportunity to win on Saturdays.
Reminds me of you, Shane. You want to be here. You want to give your all for Tennessee. But, I mean, I think that's the perfect attitude. And clearly, he's not saying, to hell with Nico or anything like that. But, I mean, he kind of is. You read between the lines. Did Nico really want to be there? If he did, he'd still be Tennessee's quarterback,
This is not confirmed, all right? But there was also rumor about when he found out in the locker room and what was said. And I'm not going to quote, I guess I could. Jess Ball today, she posted, tight end Kisselman went ballistic in the locker room screaming, fuck that dude. So again, he didn't come out and say it in this press conference, but I feel like this locker room has snapped and cleared, if you will. And sometimes, it takes a moment like this to bring your brothers together. And I mean, we've all been at a workplace like this where maybe somebody left us hanging. It's, you know what I'm saying? I feel like this could actually bring that locker room together and get behind and have something to fight for. So yeah, a lot of Gisman jerseys going to be sold this offseason, I would imagine.
Yeah, but hey, don't forget, Shay, there will be one of the I've never even learned how to say it, Iamaleava brothers playing in a Tennessee game.
I'm
Remember
sorry.
that?
Say that again.
One of the Iamaleava brothers
Yeah.
will be suiting up for a Tennessee game.
Oh, really?
Arkansas signed his little brother, Shane. I mean, all of a sudden that's a rivalry. You know what?
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, we gotta get them there first. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Do you think the
Arkansas
family
is on the way, so
will the family come to the game? I bet they don't.
No, they don't come to that one. They sit that one out, or they sit in a box somewhere. You know what I'm saying? One of those. They're
I don't think they're going to be welcome in the box.
I don't know, man. I don't think they. I mean, if the kid's playing, I think they'll be there. If the kid's not playing, clearly their ass will not be in Knoxville. This may be the last time.
So, and then again, we may have an answer in about a week's time, Shane. Do you think, I know you weren't at the spring game, but do you think Tennessee goes to the portal to get, let me frame it this way. Do you think Tennessee gets a quarterback, may not, day one say, this is our starter? I mean, that'd be asinine because then one of the other guys may hit the portal. But do you think they'll get someone that could compete for the starting job? And keep in mind, Jake Merklinger, I think he's got 6 attempts in his career.
Yeah.
And then George McIntyre, obviously a true freshman. So that's what they're walking into the season with. Will they, without a doubt, they're going to add a quarterback, but is it going to be just be a depth guy, or is it going to be a guy that can compete to be the starting quarterback at Tennessee week 1 against Syracuse?
I think you had somebody that has potential to play. Coach came out and says, we got 2 scholarship quarterbacks. We're getting another one. So, like I said earlier, I think with the money that is available, and not to mention after all this, there's going to be some boosters saying, hey, do you need a little extra? Because we'll go get so-and-so. I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee doesn't bring in a guy that's competing immediately. But I'm not saying that the starting quarterback's not already in that locker room either.
All right. Cousin Cotton says Nico was holding out for Shane's Cracker Barrel ban. Took it too far. You know what?
Took it too far. See, there's a way to do this, Nico. You should have buzzed me. I gave you a rundown how to make. So again, I think Tennessee's better for it. I honestly, I do. They don't have this kind of laying around. And how many times, Mike, did we say last year? I don't know if Nico's the guy. I kept wanting to will it. I kept making excuses for him, but now it's like, I don't think he really was our guy anyway.
Yeah. Hey, well, speaking of Nico too, this was pretty interesting, Shane. Again, because this stupidity where these games are going, we're not able to actually watch the game. Like either you go to the spring games and otherwise we have no idea what happened in any of these games. So I'm going to be reaching out. I'm going to try to get, an LSU guy to tell me what happened there. Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, on and on and on. But here's Brian Kelly. He was asked about this. It was pretty interesting. Kirby was asked to. Kirby gave a non-answer. Brian Kelly was about the only one that gave an answer. What are your thoughts on this here?
What do you, if you do have thoughts on it, do you want to share? Like, what do you do here internally to prevent moments like that?
Well, I think we're in this period of adjustment, right? I mean, I think we've got a settlement that is in the throes of being decided. The House settlement is coming close. That will, bring us most likely some form of revenue sharing. I think there's changes coming in NIL. I think this is the first version of corrections, maybe. I think that we're going to see a lot of this. This was a new world, and I think we're going to navigate it the best that we can. But I think that there's going to be other situations that come, and we're just going to have to, do the best we can. I think there's going to be better information out there that will allow people to look at comps for positions and say, that makes sense, that doesn't make sense. And it'll allow us to navigate this a lot more reasonably moving forward, for good or bad. And people can make decisions. If you want to pay X, then that's what you can do. But I think this is the natural course that would happen when there weren't many guidelines out there. And moving forward, I think with the House settlement and, with a, potentially a clearinghouse for NIL. I think we'll see, a better place as we continue to move forward.
Like cousin Shane there, doesn't he? We're gonna see more of this. Oof. Do you think we see more of this before the season starts?
Yeah. I think it's already happening, but it's just not happening at that high level. So absolutely. This is the more you get, agents involved, the more you get parents involved and family members, it's going to get murky because I hate to say it, but everybody sees an opportunity to make money off in each and every individual that's in Division I football right now. And they're pushing them to make bad decisions sometimes. So yeah, I feel like it's going to happen, but it will also accelerate some of the decisions that we're going to be hearing coming from these coaches. You've got, Destin right around the corner. I feel like now you've got a pretty damn bulletin point. Like, we've got to get a system in place and get it together soon, or we're going to have more problems like this in the future.
Yeah, and I think this is something that you hit on when we got on the emergency podcast on Friday. I think this is going to be the beginning of the end for the spring portal window.
Yep.
I think we got to do away with that. I really do, because they're killing the spring. They're killing these spring games. And again, until they fix all this, which we keep waiting for them to fix it. I don't know if there's going to be able to fix it, but if there's no spring portal,
yeah,
I think that alleviates a lot of these headaches that come with all this. That's just me. You know what?
Think about it from a business standpoint. You own Disney, right? Mm-hmm. And now we've got everybody that doesn't even want to do a spring game because they're afraid they're going to lose their kids and yada, yada, yada. They'll blame injuries and they'll blame all this other stuff, but we know exactly what it's about. So we alleviate that by getting rid of the portal. So now we have spring games, but even better, because we overcorrect, that's what we do these days, we're going to have Team A go against Team B next year, and we're going to sell more tickets, and we're going to televise the shit out of this thing, and we're going to make some money. So this is a money-making opportunity, and anytime you see that in college football, it will get fixed quickly.
Yeah. I think the only way you keep it open, and I don't even think they'll keep it open, to be honest with you, is if maybe you just can't quite play.
Yeah.
Because they may want people to leave. If you leave in the spring, you got to go to like Division II or Division III. Does that make sense? Or,
yeah,
let's say you need a depth piece. You could get a guy from D2, D3 to join. Does that make sense? Like, you can jump up a level or jump down, but you can't go anywhere in the country that's from one to the other, if that makes sense.
Last Chance U just got really interesting, didn't it?
Hey, shout out Gas. How about this one? NIL. Nico is leaving.
See ya. Adios.
Well, Shay, this whole thing.
Maybe I'm going to use that. I'm going to go ahead and Nico out of here or something. Maybe we can start using it as I don't know is that a verb, an action? So
it is. But this whole thing, Shay, the whole thing stinks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know how you can prevent it from smelling even more?
How did you do that, Mike?
Shopbando.com. Shay, promo code SEC over at Shopbando will get you $5 off a starter pack over at Shopmando. That's SHOPMANDO. You see it on the screen there. $5 off a starter pack. Shane, a starter pack of solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, so you don't smell like this whole situation with the portal. You can put this all over you, Shay. Maybe if Nico had some of this, he would have been happy. He would have stayed at Tennessee. We'll never know, but I guarantee you he would have been better off with this clinically proven Mando to block odor all day and control it for 72 hours. This whole thing stinks to high heaven, and it doesn't have any baking soda like cookies that Shane is thinking about right now. Shopmando.com, promo code SEC. Most importantly, get $5 off, which is 40% off the whole product. You know what? I mean, if you order enough of these Shop Mandos, you can go buy you any quarterback in the country.
You can. I mean, who's going to stop you? You know what I'm saying?
and you're gonna smell good while doing it. You know?
Hell yeah. And you look sophisticated. I ain't gonna lie, Mike. When it's not brute sitting on the counter, you know what I'm saying? People are like, damn, this guy's got money. No, you got a promo code, that SEC.
All right, Shane. So I put this in the title. I haven't even talked about you. I haven't talked. Excuse me. I haven't talked this even with you.
Yeah.
So this is potentially huge news that I've been calling around. We're getting sources, Shane. I got sources now. Not really, but I've been calling people, Shane. So this is. Let me preface this by this. Shane, is there anybody that you know that is rooting for the Florida Gators and particularly their quarterback, Mr. DJ Lagway, more than I am?
No.
Like this, I'm not some guy that is like, to hell with Florida. I want DJ to suck. All this, like,
you're dying on this hill. You got the flag, right? Absolutely.
I think he could be the best player in the country, not the SEC, the country. Like, I think he's that good. I think Sellers is right there with him, but I think Nico is. Or excuse me, Nico, the hell with him. I think DJ Lagway is that good, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be all crazy with this,
right?
But I have heard, Shane, that there is a growing concern that DJ Lagway is going to miss some time and may not even play this season. Ooh. Now, that has not been confirmed, and I got the clip. We'll play it, Billy Napier, here in just a second, but he says, hey, he's on track. He's good to go. He's going to start throwing soon. But I heard someone... I've been reaching out to a ton of people to try to verify all this. And they said that's complete horseshit, what Billy Napier said. So that's pretty interesting. And here's exactly what I know. This is just what's so fascinating about this, Shane. And they're being so vague about it, right? Mm-hmm. No one's got details. No one knows exactly what's wrong with him. But as it's told to me, he has an injury right now that he has suffered previously in high school, and it's not been corrected with surgery. And still to this day, he has not had the surgery. And if he has surgery, there's a chance it knocks him out for the entire season. He could have it and still come back, but he probably still miss some of the season. It's my understanding that they're trying to see if it'll heal on its own. And again, he's had this in high school, and it healed, and he was able to play. So maybe that will happen, but it's my understanding that this injury is going to, it has a chance of reoccurring, and obviously it has from high school to now college. And this is a big deal to where, let's say we get a month or two down the road. That's what Billy Napier said. He's like, he'll be good to go in June. I think they're waiting to June. What happens when we get to June and they say, well, hell, he still needs a surgery? That's the fear.
Yeah.
And if that happens, I don't think he's going to play this year.
Well, it's a bad situation too, because you got a coach that can't afford to wait, and you got a quarterback that can, so at the end of the day, the kid's going to do what's best for him, not what's best for Billy Napier, and again, I know I've heard a lot of great stories about DJ's and his love for the community and the love for the university, but it's also going to come to a business decision. Is it something that's going to hurt him later? So I don't know. I mean, it's not like anybody's been my sources are not like your sources, Mike,
Right.
Most of mine are cousins, and they heard it through a grapevine. So, but I will say this, brother, I'm a little leery, because if it is something that can get corrected with surgery, it's like, wouldn't you want it now? Like, fall is not that long away. I would rather have DJ at the tail end of this season. And then that way, if we have success, maybe Billy buys him a little bit more time. Not saying that he won't have it earlier, but it just seems like that wait and see, hoping it feels better by a certain point. It's like when you reach that point, it's an ultimate coin toss, because if any setback happens from now till then, he will not play, and Florida's going to be up shit's creek, man.
Right. And so again, in fairness to Bill, let's play Billy Napier. He says he's going to be fine. So
of course they love Harrison. I'll tell you, when I start getting Harrison highlights, I'm like, shit, they got him hook, line, and sinker. They love the kid.
Yep.
Yeah, Billy, you mentioned a lot of guys that kind of nursing things, but DJ in particular, what's the course ahead for him?
Yeah.
The level of optimism for him,
Yeah, no, DJ's
getting
doing
ready.
great. He'll start throwing here in a couple weeks. But yeah, just in general, very positive there. He's, the lower body stuff is good, and I think he's been able to do that. And I think we're working on, just kind of getting him in position for the next step. But in general, there are a lot of positive. Everything's on schedule.
So you expect him fully ready for camp?
Oh yeah. He'll be, when we start OTAs in June, he'll be 100%.
Okay.
He'll start throwing in a couple weeks.
Now that's the part that I heard that was complete bullshit, that he's going to be throwing in a couple weeks. So,
I'm going to start eating healthy tomorrow, Mike.
So I am officially concerned about this situation and the fact they're being vague.
Yeah.
And I've seen in the comments they're saying, "Oh, maybe he had surgery." I know for a fact he did not have surgery, and the fear is that he will need it and it's going to knock him out. But maybe that's why. Again, maybe I'm going too deep down the rabbit hole, but maybe this is why the over/under is 6.5. I get it. The schedule's it's a gauntlet again, but hell, last year was a gauntlet, and you won 8 games. So I think this all plays into it. That there is some concern that he will be limited. And maybe he'll just miss like the first game. I mean, they could beat the hell out of the Sharks in South Florida, but you ain't beating LSU and Baton Rouge. You probably are not beating Miami on the road if you don't have DJ Lagway. You know what I mean? So shout out because of Mike. What's Florida record without Lagway? Man, I hate to even think of this, but
let's do it. Let's.
I think 4-8.
Jeez.
They'll beat the Sharks. They'll beat South Florida. I think they beat Mississippi State at home. I think they beat Kentucky on the road. I think that's it.
Well, okay. Let's just pretend that this scenario plays out.
Yeah.
Did they keep Billy, knowing that let's call it like it is, franchise quarterback is not suited up?
Uh-huh.
I mean, it feels like we gave him more time because of the way they finished last season. But if that is the case and they miss a bowl game here, let's just say they miss a bowl. Let's say 5 wins here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you bring him back knowing that your quarterback's coming back, or do you just pray that DJ sticks around after you fire the coach?
Oh man. Yeah. I think if they
Mike.
If they made a commitment and said, DJ will be fine in 26. Hell, I guess I think they'd probably keep him.
Yeah.
Because who the hell can win without your, again, elite? I think DJ Lagway is good enough to win the damn Heisman. Like, I think he's that good.
Yeah.
You take a player of that caliber off any team, they're going to suffer. So I don't know how you hold that against Napier,
Yeah. I don't either, but we're 4 years in. I mean, at some point, Mike.
Year 5, year 5's with it.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
26 it'll click.
Yeah, shit or get off the pot, man. If it comes down to one quarterback, then why don't you have multiple quarterbacks to step in and help this situation? So I feel like if Florida, the bar needs to be around at least 7 wins. I could get 6, make a bowl with, and it's got to be like an upset. There's got to be one good upset in there, and maybe toward the tail end, kind of like they did last year, get hot toward the end of the season, then you keep Billy. But this shouldn't all come down to one guy. It's like nobody's sitting there and saying, well, Josh Heupel, let's just give him a whole nother year because he lost Nico here in the spring. No, they're saying, is it still a playoff team? That's the standard and expectations in Knoxville. And 10 years ago, that was the standards and expectations in the swamp. So, yeah, I'm not going to dilute it because my quarterback's banged up. I think the fact that we're even flirting with a possible 5 or 6 win season with or without the quarterback should get you fired anyway. But we'll see how this season plays out. You're on cloud 9 with the Florida Gators. If anybody's pulling back, if I see you retreating, then I know we're in trouble, Mike.
I think they can win 10 games with them, though.
What do you think? But do you think that's the the serious difference between like take Tennessee for a second.
Mhm.
Let's say with Nico, what was your ceiling with the Tennessee Vols?
9-3.
And without Nico, what is your ceiling without the Nico or without? Yeah, you got me.
I mean, now this could change because they could add a portal quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Well, probably 7-5.
Okay. So you're looking at two wins, and you're thinking DJ is a full 5-game swing. Is it because the schedule's tougher, or DJ's that good?
Well, let's go 4 games. Let's go 9 win
Okay.
for Florida. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because DJ's that good in my mind.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But did you see Harrison highlights? I mean,
And speaking of Nico, I missed this comment. I apologize. Cousin Jason, appreciate you. Jason Cox gave us $5. Can Nico play receiver? Boomer. They receivers out there. I don't know, man. He can barely play quarterback. How about cousin Brian Moore? I'm ready for the UT Bowl. Burnt orange and white on the same field at the same.
yes, sir.
Who wins that one? Texas or Tennessee?
This year, Texas
Yeah.
right now. I got
Yeah.
Texas. Yeah.
Now, what if they had a good quarterback?
Now, if this Arch Manning rumor I keep hearing about,
And then how about this one from Gregory Grogan? We appreciate you, brother. In the era of the transfer portal and teams going after veteran players, is there a reason for signing day since they sign and leave after the first year? I mean, yeah, because you still got to have high school guys like coming in and everything. But
yeah,
no, not really. I mean, it has been neutered to almost non-exist. I mean, signing day used to be
it was an
like a
event.
holiday, you know?
I would call in for work that day just so I could keep up with it. So sorry,
Mhm.
boss.
How about
if you're
Ace?
on, you found out.
Shout out, cousin Ricky's back. Shane, we've been
Rick, come
we've been
on,
missing
son.
Rick, but he's back. $20. What a guy! What a guy! We appreciate you, cousin Rick. How about this one, Shane? Florida without Lagway.
Yeah.
Can they beat Tennessee without Nico? Oh, now we're getting interesting. The game is at Florida late in the year.
Let's call it like it is, Mike. It doesn't. When you hear backup quarterback in Florida going against Tennessee, it makes me nervous. So I don't think that moves the needle much. I would still think this is kind of a coin toss in this game, but I would favor Florida just because they're bringing in a backup quarterback and the history of us sucking against those.
Yeah, no, I got to favor Florida, especially since it's being in the swamp. You know what?
Yeah. But by the time we get there, you know me, I'll be betting on them, some stupid bet, and I'll have to walk or exercise or do something.
Hey, but speaking of Florida, we went this far, Shane. I got to shout out this guy. And again, no one got to see it. I've seen the highlights, the little clips. I mean, he looks like $1 million, Shane.
Yeah.
Name to know for all you non-Florida people. You're gonna want to know this guy's name. True freshman, Shane. He's a 5-star. Dallas Wilson in the spring game, Shane. 10 catches, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. Looks like $1 million. And again, this is without his starting quarterback. Old Harrison was throwing dimes out there. 363 yards. I mean, maybe he wins the Heisman. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And shout out Jacoby Jackson, Shane. 10 carries, 198 yards. Maybe Florida's defense is terrible. And 3 touchdowns, 20 yards an attempt for Jacoby Jackson. Remember, it wasn't that long ago, Shane. Lane Kiffin was trolling Florida, and they're hard to watch spring game. Now it looks like they got the Harlem Globetrotters of offense down there.
Well, that, like you said, the defense sucks. You know, you kind of go back and forth, but hey, you need some sort of excitement. You know what I'm saying? And this is a prime example of why spring games are important.
Yeah.
You got your quarterback, and you know he's cloaked with injury possibilities and maybe not playing, but you're excited now because you got to see Harrison. You got to see this kid Dallas, and the jersey sales are going to be through the roof, and Florida Gator fans have got something to talk about all summer long. So I love spring games, and this is the prime example and of why is it, because again it creates a little momentum. Maybe if you don't have it,
Any possibility that these coaches are playing like 4D chess? We're like, certainly this is not the case. This Dallas Wilson, he's a 5-star. They got him to flip from Oregon at the last minute, so he's an elite player. Oregon pays better than anybody, so Florida had to be at least competitive with that offer. But the point being, could you see a scenario where a guy like this, maybe he's not even good at all, and then the coaches are like, "Hey, this game's not televised. Let's give him 10 catches. Let's give him 3 touchdowns." Everybody is going to think he's $1 million, and they're trying to hide like a tight end that they don't want anyone to know. I mean, am I crazy for thinking that?
Well, Dan Lanning called me and said he sucks. So I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. But
I played 4D chess over here. You know what?
Yeah, I do wonder sometimes. I can't remember which one. Maybe it was Lane Kiffin that talked about that. Is kind of open it up, making it fun, making it exciting. So then you feel better about your offense. You want to feel. I think ultimately you want to feel better about your offense than your defense in a spring game. I don't want to see a slugfest where it's 6-3. I would rather see 100 points scored, and then I'm leaving there like, damn, this may be the greatest show on turf next season. Now we may come to earth, week 1 or week 2, but I think I would want my offense to have a better showing.
And then one thing that is, I guess, a benefit for, if you live near the stadium and all that, but Florida did have, Shane, their largest attendance for a spring game in 16 years. Over 56,000 fans showed up. So again, there is a little bit to this. I mean, that's why I went to the Tennessee one. I was like, well, I may never be able to see this footage. And it was not there. It wasn't worth watching, to be honest with you. At Tennessee, there was about 35, 40,000. But they had most of the stadium blocked off. So for construction, but so a lot of people are going to these games because they know this will be their only opportunity to watch some of this spring game. So there is that. Maybe there's something to that,
Maybe. I've been kind of following a little bit. I saw A-Day took a hit a little bit with numbers.
Right.
Oklahoma kind of took a little bit of a hit. So, you kind of wonder because a little bit of that shows you the buy-in of the fans, but then again, you don't want to get too carried away with it. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is 1 or 2 good games, and those fans are right back in it. I remember Arkansas doom and gloom until they beat Tennessee, and shit, they were the first ones in the field over here.
Hey, how about this one, Shane? I thought you'd like this. We'll have more Kirby comments, and I didn't have time to look at them all, but I thought this was fantastic. Well, actually, no, I hated this. Excuse me.
Oh, damn.
Can't believe I said that, Shane. Georgia running back Cash Jones.
Yeah.
Last time he came out, he did the horns down.
Uh-oh.
He said Kirby's not letting him do it anymore.
Last year before the Texas game, you came in here, you did a little horns down sign. What was I don't know, was a funny thing at the time. What was the kind of blowback? How much kidding did you get about that? And would you do that again if asked?
Never again. Coach Smart let me know. That was pretty silly of me. So make sure not to do anything with my hands. That's why I'm leaving them right here the entire time.
Kirby's cracking down on them horns down. Shane, I hate it.
Yeah. But after that kid got excited there in the playoffs, on the sideline, I think he's worried about all of them. So maybe not doing any celebrations, kind of where he's at. But yeah, Kirby's kind of turned into a papaw for sure. I bet he watched the Masters today.
I love this one too from Noah Thomas, Shane, former A&M receiver.
Yeah.
Now he's at Georgia trying to be the top receiver for Georgia. This was just great. The difference of practice playing for old Kirby. He said it kind of reminded him of practicing for old Jimbo.
So what was it like coming and going through one of Kirby Smart's practices versus being at Texas A&M? Did you get yelled as much at Texas A&M as here?
Yeah, I was spooked by the little microphone, he, on there chatting and stuff. So, but it it was cool. I mean, I don't take anything to heart that he says. I know that like if he's on you, he just wants you to be better. He sees the potential in you, and I played for Jimbo Fisher as well. So Jimbo, he had some tough practices and some words for me, but. Yeah, man, it's great. I just like I keep saying, man, I love the hard work because, I mean, it makes you better on and off the field. It makes me a better person as well, just going through all those, obstacles.
Oh, hey, shout out too. I forgot to mention this, Shane. I saw it in the comments. Someone was talking about doing autographs during spring.
Yeah.
At the Florida one, apparently there was about 40 people in line to get Napier's autograph.
Yeah.
And the line for DJ was from one end of the stadium to the other. Would you take any offense to that if you were Coach Napier?
No,
Okay.
unless he's not playing this year. Maybe he shouldn't be signing, he should be resting that arm a little bit.
But I just thought that those comments were great. And then one more, Shane.
One real thing. I love the Noah kid. He's the one kid that I always keep waiting to pop. You know what I'm saying? I thought he would do it last year in that system. I for sure thought he'd do it down there. And was it A&M, right? So
yeah.
But Georgia, when he took it, it's like, man, this is the kid that the Georgia Bulldogs have been missing. And he's the guy that can take the top off. So I'm looking for him to have a big season. Noah, he has all the pieces. This is a kid that I feel like, regardless of what happens in college, he'll be one of the first ones signed in the NFL because he's just got it, man.
Right. And keep in mind, Shane, Georgia hasn't had a 1,000-yard receiver, I think, since like 2008, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been a long, long time. But if there's anybody on that roster that could potentially do it this year, my money would be on Noah Thomas to get that done.
Yeah, definitely. They needed him. They need him.
Mm-hmm. Last thing I got, Shane, I just thought this was fantastic. It was pretty great. Arkansas defensive coordinator Travis Williams, he's asked, who's standing out. Portal's too close, buddy. He ain't saying none of that. And also, I love the fact he says, we're not making excuses here. Nobody wants to hear him anyway.
Coach Pittman has talked a lot about some of the depth concerns just in terms of sheer numbers in the secondary and on the defensive line. How has that kind of gone this spring numbers-wise? And, what's your read on the depth for those two groups?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you start out, you go out there, we don't have the depth that we would have in the spring. And then for us defensively, like I talked to the staff, we football coaches. So you could complain about the depth or you could coach football and get guys better. So we just been focusing on, okay, who's out there? Let's get them better, and you can see the defense is getting better as a whole. We got guys that's out with injuries and different things like that. So, man, if you're a football coach, man, coach football. Don't complain. It is what it is. At the end of the day, nobody cares anyway. So, so defensively, like I talked to the staff, let's go out there and let's just coach. Let's coach to see if they can get better, and they actually has gotten better. Now we have to go get some more pieces and different things like that, but very pleased with just the growth of the defense overall.
And then is there somebody on the defensive side who's flying under the radar, caught your attention, maybe some guy that can, sneak up?
I would, I would answer your question about 5 years ago and tell you. But with the portal, I don't know if I should even answer that. Flying under the radar, who may sneak up. Everybody on defense, be honest with you, I won't say a name, but you can see everybody to the man, everybody is getting better defensively. And I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but, some guys are not having spring games. I'm going to do that here and not say a name and say everybody's doing well. How about that?
That's the world we live in now, Shane. You can't give anything away with the portal a week away. You know what?
Damn, he's up my list now. I want to go up there and have a cold beer with Sam, but damn, I bet he cuts loose too. So what a fun group, man. I just love that because I can't tell you with the portal.
You could easily see why Travis Williams, one of the most popular coaches in all the SEC. You know what?
Yeah, good recruiter. They got a gym up there, and again, this is a program that needs a little buzz, needs a little excitement, coming into this season, and keep this guy at the mic. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to get you pumped up.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, anything else, buddy? That's all I got. Anything you want to get off your chest? You want to say goodbye to Nico or anything?
Yeah, no. What do they say? Aloha. It's been fun. Everybody burning the jerseys, throwing away the Lays. The flying Hawaiian. He hasn't answered my phone call in like 3 days now, so I don't know if he's just anticipating him at the airport or whatever. But I will say this, Mike. It was a fun run, but a blip on the map. This is when you're thinking of Tennessee quarterbacks, you're going to go back and you're going to think of Hendon Hooker and you're going to think of Dobbs. You're going to think of Peyton Manning and Mark T. Barton and all these guys that come through. Nico will be he'll be one of those fun questions you get at a sports trivia bar. And you're like, fuck, what was his name? What was that kid that almost stayed in college? What was his name? So, but anyway, I joke. I'm kidding. I wish him nothing but the best. But
Ghetto Steam Lab says, I hope Cracker Barrel blocks Nico.
I am interested to see where he goes. Because there's going to be a coach.
Yeah, let me ask you that. Is there anywhere that he goes that you'd be even more upset with him? Keep in mind, he can't go to another SEC school.
Yeah.
But is there an institution that if he travels, transfers there, you're going to be like, man, that now it hurts even more?
Because it's not the SEC. I'm fine there.
Maybe Dion going to play.
I've heard Colorado, and that's okay. I think he'd be a good fit there. That'd be exciting.
What if he goes to Syracuse? Season opener, Tennessee.
Now, I wouldn't want to go against him.
Okay.
That's for sure. I'd rule out Syracuse. I think a USC top deal. Go west. That's where he wants to be anyway. So
what if
fine.
Belichick uses his girlfriend to recruit Nico to North Carolina? Will that bug you at all?
No. None of the school. Maybe a Miami ACC top deal would probably be the closest. Maybe closer. Where I have to keep hearing them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you think of USC, you think of the one thing I don't like about Colorado and especially Nico is we would never fucking hear the end of it. It would be constant. Nico did this. He took a shit today. He walked the dogs. Look at him out. It was just too much coverage. And I'm good with a clean break. Put him in UNLV. Let's not see him for a day or two. You know what I'm saying? Let him live out there for a little while. And then, now he has to prove it. The name got him to Tennessee. The star power got him here. But now he's going to have to work his ass off to become a great quarterback in college football. And some people think he can't do it. I don't know. So we'll see. But
Cousin Tony says Ohio State. Would that hurt you at all?
No, because he wouldn't start. So
I don't know how, because I've heard that from other people. Like they said, could he go there? But
I don't think Ohio State wants him.
I was about to say, after that game, what would possess Ohio State to look at the film and be like, we want this guy?
Was State fans seriously sitting there saying, you know what, we'd be better if we had him. We would be better. No, they wouldn't say that. But hey, he'll get an opportunity. And again, I wish nothing but the best for Nico. But how it was handled, that's a 30 for 30 on its own. And the people around him, I think you can use this as a tool. So when they start having these clinics and they're talking to these folks, oh, sorry. Kids calling. All right, I gotta go. But anyway, brother, that's it on Nico. I gotta make sure she's all right. The Rod Week up here in Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge. So if you're sitting in traffic, you picked a hell of a week to come up here, and she's up there in the middle of it.
Okay, buddy. Well, hey, we appreciate you. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, see you guys. Go Vols.
Hey, buddy, this beer's for you, Mike, and Cousin Shane. That SEC podcast loves the Pirate, and the Pirate loves that SEC podcast. Hail State.